Welcome back to Language Conventions. This video will focus on the idea of text cohesion. Cohesive devices are words or phrases used to connect ideas between different parts of a text. They are also sometimes called cohesive ties or anaphora. There are two main types, pronouns and synonyms. As proficient readers, we may take for granted that these ties may not be obvious to students. As we engage in text with students, we can make these ties visible by literally drawing in the connections between words and their cohesive ties. In the next few slides, we will explore two main types of ties, pronouns and synonyms. It is important to note two key words that will be used to describe the words in these texts. The antecedent is the idea that is initially introduced, and the referent is that which eventually is used to replace it. The pronouns and synonyms are reference for another idea presented earlier in the text. Let's take a look at this short text about plants. The author only uses the noun plants one time at the very beginning of the text. Plants is the antecedent. Throughout the text, the author uses the pronouns they and them to refer back to the antecedent. The pronouns they and them are the reference. Now let's take a look at synonyms and other types of reference that tie back to the main noun of plants. How many can you spot? Pause the video here and read the text and find the synonyms and other words that refer back to the idea of plants. The phrase, "these living things," refers back to plants. The author also uses the reference some, others, and certain ones to refer back to plants. And finally, the author uses the very sophisticated term vegetation to refer back to plants. The further away the referent is to the original idea or noun, the more likely confusion will occur. By drawing students' attention to these cohesive ties, we can better support student comprehension of the text they read. As the complexity of text increases, we can see that the use of pronouns can become more complex as well. Consider the pronoun it. In the first paragraph, it refers to an aquifer. In the second paragraph, it first refers to aquifer and then to Canada. In the third paragraph, it refers to bottling water. Now consider these three synonyms. It is fairly easy to make the links between these phrases because they all have the main idea in the phrase, bottling. This slight change in the referent allows for a smooth flow of ideas without disrupting the connection between ideas. It can be said that these cohesive ties allow for a high degree of cohesion for the reader. Now consider these phrases. They are a little trickier. The reader needs to make an inference to understand that all these phrases are referring to the same thing. This lower level of cohesion can create confusion for the reader. This author's particular use of cohesive ties that at first allow for a high level of cohesion, then transition to more complex ties that provide less cohesion, could be a good topic of discussion with students. Why might an author choose to structure the article this way? By engaging in these conversations with students, we build their awareness of the intentionality that writers bring to their craft. Ultimately, uncovering these ties and making them explicit is one way to help students to build their comprehension of not only the text they are reading, but of future texts that contain similar cohesive tie structures. Another good way to teach sentence cohesion is to help students think and write like authors. Authors use reference to make texts flow more smoothly and make them more interesting. Using the cohesive tie strategy for writing is a great way to have students learn and use ties on their own writing. The cohesive tie strategy teaches students to alternate using the original noun, a synonym, a pronoun, and another synonym when talking about the main noun. Let's take a look. After reading the story Bear Snores On, the educator can lead a discussion about ways to describe Bear, the main character in the story, including pronouns that the author uses to refer back to the character in the story. The teacher can then model a retell of the story during a shared writing activity using the cohesive tie strategy. alternating the main noun, synonyms, and pronouns throughout the composition. In summary, when teaching students about cohesion, we need to help them look for main ideas, the most important who or what of a text. We need to help them make the links between pronouns and their antecedents regularly. We need to encourage them to look for synonyms for previously mentioned ideas, and talk to them about why authors use synonyms to make the writing more interesting, and teach them how to use these devices in their own writing. Thank you for watching and engaging in learning about syntax and sentence level skills.